Hey, good evening. I'm just about an hour later than I usually do these things, but since I've committed for a year of Instagram Lives, I'm probably going to be a little bit all over the place in terms of the timing. So actually, I skipped yesterday. Hello, Wagmore, because things were just too difficult. I'm going through a really, really tough time right now. I won't go into details, but it's one of those times when people say that thing, God never gives you more than you can handle. And you think, really? So I know a lot of people are having a time like that, between COVID and shutdowns and restaurants closed and just, all kinds of things are happening for and to people. So if you're in a situation now that's really, really tough, I'm so sorry. And I'm in one with you. So Tavia, hey Tavia. Tavia and I just met yesterday. She might be coming to Main Street Vegan Academy. We have a program starting this weekend. So I hope you'll come. It's going to be so cool. And speaking of Main Street Vegan, that is my other Instagram here. So Main Street Vegan is my academy and my podcast. We have a weekly blog. So on Thursdays at 3:30, we're starting to do something over there at Main Street Vegan on Instagram, which are lives with one of my graduates. So that's called Ask the Vegan Coaches, and you can ask your questions and you can hear what cool things these professional vegans are doing in the world. But today we are going to be reading from Younger by the Day, and it's actually, I'm reading yesterday's if you're following along in the book, but it'll all work out. So it's called Construct a Collage of Your Hopes and Dreams. One secret to eternal youth is this: dreams and decline are opposites. You can choose to grow toward one or the other. Constructing a collage of your hopes and dreams renders them real and solid. A verbal image forms the template. All that's left is filling it in. You're familiar with this process if you've ever done treasure mapping, making a collage of what you want to come into your life. The collage I suggest is not so much representative of material things you might like to acquire as the life you want to live and the person you want to become. Leaf through magazines for words and images that reflect who you are, what you aspire to, qualities to further develop, ideals that move you, goals you wish to reach, and dreams you long to see take shape. Seemingly impossible dreams are as valid here as the other ones. Cut out pictures and phrases that speak to you in some way. You'll choose some for their literal meaning, others as symbols. Clip everything that catches your eye. It's fine to have more cutouts than you'll use. Now, I'm going to stop there because this book, as those of you who've been following along know, is 17 years old. And the world has changed in a lot of ways in the past 17 years. And one of those ways is people don't read magazines as much as they used to. And if you want to buy one at a newsstand, they're really expensive. My goodness, I was looking at one at the drugstore the other day, and it's like, are we serious? I could buy a hardcover book like this one for the price of this magazine. But you know what? We just have to be creative. You can find magazines, you can find pictures. Maybe you want to draw some pictures. Maybe you want to take something from online, and if you've got a color printer, that works. We're going to figure something out. What this is about is having a piece of poster board somewhere where you can see it anytime you want, and where nobody who would say, oh, that's stupid, or you'll never do that, will ever see it. We don't need that kind of input. I remember once hearing Deepak Chopra say that when you've got a little dream and it's just embryonic, it's just kind of starting to take shape, it's like when you first plant a seed and those little bitty strings, I'm sure there's a botanical word, but those little tiny rootlets start coming out. You don't need somebody going in there and picking the thing up and looking at it and seeing how it's doing and sticking it back in the dirt. You need to be gentle with a dream. So you make your treasure map or your vision board or whatever you want to call it, and put it where you will see it. So mine is on the inside of a closet door. And I'm actually due another one because mine's about 10 years old, and that's the super max. I mean, some people do this like twice a year or once a year anyway. You know, I kind of let mine sit and just see how much of this stuff can come into being. But I am due for another one, so this is inspiring me to think about this too. So I encourage you to get yourself a piece of poster board, a glue stick, and whatever kind of pictures you can collect, and just think about if there were a visual way to express the life that you want to grow into. That's what this is. And the action step, I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I think it's better sometimes if we just chat than read and read and read, is rejuvenate yourself with action. Construct a collage of your hopes and dreams. Start today to cut out magazine clippings, words, and pictures that can help you build your future. Within 2 weeks, have your collage finished and hung so you can spend some moments with it every day. And you know, with all this stuff about visualizing and goal setting and everything that's future focused, we can only really live in the day. So even though we are aspiring to things coming up ahead, the real life takes place right now. So just remember to be in it. And if you, like me, happen to be going through a time that is just like, this is not happening, is it? Yeah, it is. You just show up and you look for some beauty and you look for some order and you look for some joy. So a couple of places that I've been finding joy, and I know we're all different, we're all going to find them different places. I have 2 TV shows. I've mentioned at least one of these before, and that is Emily in Paris. Oh, there's somebody named Victoria Moran like me. That's so cool. Hello, other Victoria Moran. I don't know if you're the one here in New York City. There is another Victoria Moran here in New York City, and sometimes they'll think that I am she at a salon, and a couple of times, stores have called me to tell me that my order is in, and it's really the other Victoria Moran. So that's kind of new for me, not super new, but my maiden name, I don't know if we still call it that, was a very unusual name, and nobody, well, I'm not going to ask you anything personal to see if you're the Victoria Moran that maybe you are. I remember that person came to a book signing that I did at the Barnes & Noble over in the East Side a long time ago. I think it was like 1999. It was before I'd even moved to New York City, but maybe we can DM or something. So anyway, I was just talking about how we need to find these delights. So one of mine is Emily in Paris. And there's really no reason why I should like this show so much because the main character is 26. But, I was 26, so I can relate in that way. But you know what I think is really the cool thing about that show? There are these exquisite views of Paris. And Paris, if you've been there, it's just art and beauty, just everywhere. There is just no part of Paris that isn't gorgeous. And so just having that come at me through a TV screen is really, really sweet. And I have been to Paris a few times in my life. And so some of these places I've seen, I think they're probably photographing some of the places that tourists tend to go. And to say, oh my gosh, I was there. It just feels really cool. And I think that is one of the great things, when you're older and you have been some places and seen some things, they're in your personal repertoire. It's very different to see a picture of the Eiffel Tower when you're a child and you've never been there. And it's another thing to see that picture and you remember when you were standing under it or when you went up into it. So that's one. And then the other show that is making me really happy. Oh, Three Loved Cats, you've seen all the episodes. That's great. I'm going to be sad when I catch up when I've seen them all. The other show that I just really love, also on Netflix, is Queer Eye. It celebrates self-care, and it celebrates who everybody is, every person that they work with, whether it's a man or a woman. The Fab Five just care for these people. They are just so loving. And of course, my great fantasy is, the Fab Five come in here and just, do all sorts of wonderful things for me too. I know that's not going to happen. For one thing, they're never going to come to New York, but it's cool. And I get a big kick out of all the guys and all the wonderful things that they do for people. So those are my two kind of televised things that make me happy. I get happy when I take care of myself, because when there's a lot going on around me that I can't control, I feel like what I can control is getting my roots done. I did that yesterday. What I can control is, keeping up my manicure. It's like, I can do that. I know how to do that. And I also know to do it with the kind of nail polish that doesn't have formaldehyde and taurine and all that. And what's so cool, these non-toxic products are also almost always not tested on animals. So you got the cruelty-free and the non-toxic and the feeling like you're keeping up with life and keeping up with yourself. So that's basically what I'm doing these days. I also am starting back at the gym tomorrow. I had a 1 month block on my membership because of the COVID surge in New York City, but now, that's over. And plus I already had COVID, so I've got a little more immunity. So I'm excited about going back tomorrow, maybe taking a bar class or a yoga class or a Pilates class, or just walking on the treadmill, riding the bicycle, just knowing that I'm doing something good for me. And when the me is taken care of, everybody else gets taken care of better too. So let me just look at your wonderful notes. Tavia says she looks forward to visiting. That's so cool. Oh, thank you, Jen. Yeah, that happens to you too. Lovely. Hello, Allison. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. And tomorrow, I'm going to shoot for 4:30. Might make it, maybe not. Hope to see you. Much love.